Hello everyone, welcome to the When It Worked podcast. You're with the host, Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by the fantastic Dylan Evans and Ayat Shukairy. Welcome to the show, guests.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get some music on.
Looking forward to it.
I'm stressed out after getting all of that set up. All right, so we're going to play Jeoparty, and then afterwards we're going to meet our fantastic and wonderful guests. The categories are Killer Shakespeare, countries with only Avals, a number of groups, an Ivy League education, so I presume that would be universities. The simpler four-letter synonym. So what that means is there'll be a hard word and there'll be an easier word that almost means the same thing. That's only 4 letters. Sounds pretty scary. Ayat, would you like to kick things off? What category would you like?
Let's go with the simpler 4-letter synonym for 400.
400. Unencumbered. I just want to be. What's the United States famous for? The land of?
Free.
Let's take a look. Free is correct. Well done, Ayat. I gave Ayat a little bit of a nudge. I'll give you one too, Dylan. Don't worry. All right, continuing on. Ayat is in control. What would you like?
Let's try countries with only A vowels for 200.
Countries with only A vowels. It's also one of only 4 countries with a Q in its name.
With a Q in its name.
And they recently had the Soccer World Cup, I think.
Qatar.
What was that?
Qatar.
Qatar. Let's take a look. Qatar is correct. Ayat is on fire. Well done. Continuing on. What would you like, Ayat?
Let's go with a number of groups. 200?
A number of groups, 200. Hop in my Chrysler, it's as big as a whale, and it's about to set sail, sang this group in Love Shack, baby. You would not have been born when this came out, Ayat. Dylan, do you remember this?
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, you can have a turn if you can get it.
It is the B-52s.
B-52s is correct. Well done, Dylan. You're in control now. What would you like? Oh, I didn't hear that. What was that?
Shakespeare for 400.
Shakespeare for 400. The slave Pindarus helps the assassin Cassius take his own life in this play. Goodness me, I don't know any Shakespeare. I know Romeo and Juliet, that's all. Dylan looks a bit stumped as well. Uh-oh.
I'm not, I don't have it.
Don't have it. You want to have a guess, anyone? My guess would just embarrass myself, so I'm not going to guess. Julius Caesar. All right, now you're still in control, Dylan, because I was not able to answer correctly. What would you like, Dylan?
How about countries with only A vowels for 4?
Countries with only A vowels for 400. From 1994 to 2015, the UN operated an international criminal tribunal for this country's genocide. Goodness me. 1994. So genocide. Rwanda, of course. Well done, Dylan. You got it. And you're in control. Dylan, what would you like?
Let's go. Same thing for 6.
Countries with only A vowels for 600. It's a multi-island nation off the Florida coast. Okay, we're ignoring the multi-island nation off the Florida coast. Now, I'm thinking like Caribbean, but that's got an E.
I have it.
You got it? You got it, Dylan?
Go for it, Ayat.
Go, Ayat.
The Bahamas?
The Bahamas. I was kind of barking up the right tree, wasn't I? All right, well done,
Yes.
Ayat. 1,200 points versus 600. Ayat has taken the lead. What would you
All
like?
right, let's go with 800. Countries with only A vowels.
Countries with only A vowels for 800. The two that touch both the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. The two. So there's two.
The two that touch.
Is that
I
like
got
up on? Oh,
Not
oh, of
Japan?
course.
Antarctic? No.
Dylan, What is it?
You give up on it?
Yeah, go for it.
Canada and Panama.
This is, if you've got this, I had Canada and Panama. Well done, Dylan. That was a tremendous effort and very polite in waiting for Ayat to make sure she was finished. Not many contestants do that. But you're in control now, Dylan.
Let's go for the last country with only an Aval.
Yeah, I like this category. The 9th largest nation in area. Historically, it's been part of different empires. 9th largest. Okay, so we've got the big nations would be Australia, Russia, Brazil, India.
Yeah, you're naming a lot of things that have vowels other than A.
I know.
Which is
Never
certainly on
listen to
purpose.
my clues. That's a tip for you. Any idea?
What did you say? What was your tip?
I was just rattling off big nations by landmass, but I didn't really have any with A's.
Yeah.
All right, we're
I
stumped.
have no idea.
No idea. Let's take a look. Kazakhstan. Wow. I did not realize Kazakhstan was big. Unfortunately, the only problem with Kazakhstan is due to that movie, which makes me think of Borat, which is terribly unfair. Now, who's in control? Dylan
It's
is still
Dylan.
Dylan's still in control. What would you like?
Let's try more Shakespeare for 6.
More Shakespeare for 600. After Tybalt kills this friend of Romeo's in a duel, Romeo takes out Tybalt. So, who did Tybalt kill? Characters in... I hope you're not Googling, Dylan.
Is it Mercutio?
Let's take a look. Mercutio, well done. 600 points.
All right.
All right, you're in control.
Let's keep going on Shakespeare.
I'm going to get you to pan the camera down and make sure there's no phone on your lap. Continuing. No, just kidding. All right, go, Dylan. What would you like?
More Shakespeare.
800 Shakespeare. The death of the Greek warrior Patroclus at the hands of Hector in this play spurs Achilles to resume fighting. The death of the Greek warrior Patroclus at the hands of Hector. So this is Shakespeare.
So it's his Troy play, and I don't remember the name of it. But is
Troy.
it?
Has anyone seen the Troy?
Is it
movie?
Troilus and Cressida?
Let's take a look. Oh, well done, Dylan. You have got some good general knowledge there. And did you watch that Troy movie?
Let's go to
with Brad Pitt?
200.
Oh, sorry. Keep me on track. That's good.
Let's
200 Shakespeare. He kills and beheads Macbeth, who had wiped out his whole family. Okay, now Macbeth had... No, that was Othello. Okay, Macbeth had...
Yeah, this is classic, and I just cannot think of the name.
The baddie in Macbeth.
It's like the classic name for an evil guy.
Oh, is it?
It's been reused so many times.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be one of those. Oh, of course. Let's take a look. Macduff.
Do you remember?
Macduff.
Thought that was in The Simpsons.
Macduff.
Okay, now still in control, Dylan.
All right, let's go to Shakespeare.
I'd be running away from this category. Saturnius kills this man, but only after that man has cooked his stepson into a pie. Goodness me. Do we even know the play that this is from?
I don't remember the name of it.
No.
I remember the story.
I didn't really pay attention in these types of classes at school. Titus Andronicus. I think I've heard of it. I would have no idea what it was.
Also the name of the play. All right.
There you go. He's got a lot of plays, some that are not that well known. All right, Dylan, what would you like? You're still in control.
Let's try the simpler 4-letter synonym for 2.
200. Bestow.
Give.
That sounds good to me. Well done, Dylan. Dylan is on fire right now. What would you like?
Let's go more four-letter synonyms for
600. Bogus or counterfeit? Any idea?
fake.
Fake, maybe?
Oh, Dylan just got in there.
Hey, I heard him say it too.
There you go. Well
Sorry.
done, Dylan. No, you do. It's
I'm
all
just so excited.
very well played. Everyone.
Let's do 800.
800 for the simpler four-letter synonym. Abysmal or profound. Abysmal or profound. I don't know how they could mean the same thing. So abysmal is like terrible. No.
I have no idea.
Profound. Well, abysmal, profound. Ah, I got it. So the clue is the first part of abysmal, which is Latin for something abyss. Out of time. Deep.
Mm.
Oh, I was going to guess holy.
Oh, okay, I saved you there. All right, you're still in control, Dylan.
Let's do four-letter synonym.
For 1,000 four-letter synonyms, ambulate. Well, I've never heard of this word in my life. Ambulance, ambulate. What does it mean? Must be something related to ambulance. So, might be. My guess would be help. I'm not supposed to just shout out random answers. I'm such a bad guest. All right, let's take a look.
Do you have a guess?
Was anyone
Yeah,
going to do that?
I didn't have.
Nah, nobody had that one. Okay. Pretty tough. These are tough questions. These are actual Jeopardy questions as well. And, so who's in control? Dylan, you're still in control. What would you like?
I'm feeling too much pressure. Do you want to choose one?
Yeah, go on.
Sure. Let's try an Ivy League education for 200.
Ivy League for 200. Oh, yeah. Nietzsche and Freud come up in the guilt and shame philosophy course at this Rhode Island school. Rhode Island, New York.
Not Princeton? No?
Could be, if that's your
Yeah.
guess. Now, if I was you, Dylan, I would guess Columbia. Or another New York
Columbia.
school. Sorry, New York Ivy League school. Let's go with Princeton. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look, yeah.
Dylan's confused.
I don't know any Rhode Island schools.
Oh,
I
there you go.
apologize to
It
the
is New
viewers.
York, isn't it? Rhode Island? Or not?
Nah,
It's a different state.
man.
See, I told you, I give you so many bumps here. Brown University or Brown College. Okay. I thought Rhode Island was in New York. Now, there's another island in New York. Anyway, don't listen to me. I'm on the other side of the world. Ayat, you're still in control. What would you like?
Let's try a number of groups 400.
A number of groups 400. This quartet's Vertigo tour ended in 2006, having grossed a tidy 389 million. Quartet. So think of the time, 2004. A quartet. So it might have been like a boy band, or do they mean a musical quartet?
Vertigo tour.
There were some girls with violins. No
I
idea.
don't know.
I'm.
Dylan, do you know?
These are tough.
Well, I'll just guess Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, you got to have a guess. You too. Oh, okay.
Ah.
Wow. Haven't heard from them in a long time. Ever since they put all the songs on the iPhones without permission, everyone got sick of them. All right, Ayat, what would you like?
Let's try a number of groups 600.
Number of groups 600 minus Tom DeLong. This pop-punk band topped the charts in 2016 with California. Now, that's very confusing to me because Tom DeLong is in one band and California to me is another band. What are the things we're thinking, people?
All I got is the Eagles because I don't know any music after 2000.
You're probably about 40 years off. Ayat?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I'll tell you
Blanking.
what. Pop punk band, Tom DeLong, they had a song called All the Small Things. All the small things. All right.
No.
Blink 182
Was
is
it
my
Blink
guess.
182?
That's what I think. Can I give that to him, Ayat? Because I kind of...
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
let's take a look. Blink 182, correct. Well done. And very well. Great sportsmanship in this edition. Dylan, what would you like?
Let's keep going with a number of groups.
A number of groups for 800. Trent Reznor is pretty much a one-man band under this name. Just say you were building some decking outside of your house, you would need a whole lot of these. And a hammer. Alright, time's up. 9-inch nails. For once, my clue was good. Alright, you're still in control, Dylan?
Let's keep doing the last group.
Okay, a number of groups, 1,000. It makes me wonder if this LA band is well read. Red is spelled R-E-D. LA band. Okay, there's a million LA bands. Red. It makes me wonder. Must
I'm
be
gonna say
this
Maroon 5.
song. Oh, very clever. An off-red color. Let's take a look. Dylan with a little bit of, what do you call it? Parallel logic. Thinking outside the box. Well done.
Yeah.
What would you like?
Let's go in reverse order for colleges.
1,000.
With a
Fundamental principles of polymer chemistry. I guess this upstate New York school has some easy classes too. Fundamental principles of polymer chemistry. So a New York uni that does kind of the STEM stuff, I would imagine. Famous for doing that. Kind of like Caltech on the other side.
Not Yale.
Let's take a look. Cornell.
Or no. I should have known.
I didn't know that Cornell was famous for sciencey stuff. I don't know a lot though. Now who's in control? Is Dylan still in control?
Yeah.
What would you like, Dylan?
That sounds good.
800 for Ivy League. You may seek forgiveness in elementary Syriac at its noted divinity school. So probably a Christian type of college. I don't know. May seek forgiveness. What do you got, Dylan? I'm going for...
I'm going to guess Yale this time.
Yale, okay. I would go Notre Dame, which is supposed to be Catholic. Harvard, okay. There you go. I guess they all started out as kind of semi-religious.
Religious.
Yeah. All right. You're still in control, Dylan. What would you like?
Let's keep going.
600 Ivy League education. If an intro to theoretical neuroscience is needed, this you on the 116th Street would be happy to arrange a meeting. These are very tough. So 116th Street makes me think it's in New York. They always have street names like that. Would that be correct? Or do other states have those kind of streets? They do.
Yeah, no, other states do. So
Okay.
I don't know if it's specific to New York.
Well, this is extremely tough. So neuroscience.
Neuroscience. MIT? I don't know.
All right, MIT. Columbia.
NYU.
Okay,
Columbia.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't think these are good questions because I think a lot of them have similar subjects. All right, now I've picked the last one for you. Who can get it? Peacemaking and grand strategy are course options at the Woodrow Wilson School at this university. I'll tell you what, this sounds like stuff that people that wanted to get into Washington might want to study. So it might be tied to that. Political science. Which is there any famous unis for
I'm
that?
just going to keep guessing Yale. And
Yeah,
hope that
you
it's
know
correct
what?
at
I was
some
just
point.
thinking that.
Princeton. I'll guess Princeton.
Okay, Princeton and Yale. Let's take a look. Princeton, Ayat with 400. Well done. That was a bit of a coin toss. Well, congratulations to our fantastic guests. Ayat on 1,600, Dylan on 5,200. I can't believe you got that many points with your logical thinking. Well done. Fantastic guests and well played. All right, let's have a chat to Ayat. Now, tell us a little bit about the things that you do at Invest CRO. What is it all about?
So, I mean, everybody talks about acquisition and bringing customers to the website. But of course, what's really important also is once you get all of that traffic coming and all the money spent bringing that traffic, you want to make sure that that traffic actually converts into customers. And that's what we do. We're all about understanding the customer, trying to get a little bit deeper inside their psychology and their different consumer behaviors so that we could persuade them to actually move forward and either purchase or sign up or whatever the action is that they need to take on that specific site. So that's what conversion rate optimization is. And the way that we measure what it is that we do is through A/B testing. So we'll, of course, do all of our research, understand what the different problem areas of the site are, prioritize them, and then we go ahead and we'll test whatever it is, whatever change we're making against the control. So our baseline is always the control that's on the site. That's the baseline conversion rate. And we're testing against that, whatever solution that we're bringing forth. And that way we can see real-time results in terms of, hey, did this have an impact? Why didn't it have an impact? What type of an impact did it have? And usually when we're doing any type of A/B testing, we're also measuring other multiple goals so that it's also a form of our research. So we've already done other types of research, but this is also informing us about the customer behavior and what really impacts them. And, of course, then taking that information and utilizing it elsewhere on the site.
So what Ayat is talking about basically is, split testing, measuring all of the variables in your marketing. If you're doing a campaign, which one is better? And I guess what do people tell you is the frustrations that they have before they come to you? What are some of the problems that you can solve for these people and companies?
I think the biggest frustration, of course, is like low conversion rates, low revenue as a result of that, right? And just ensuring that they're able to understand and reach their customer as much as possible. So what we do is, of course, understand the business needs as well. Like it's very important to understand the business and what their specific business objectives are. But then through our research and through interviewing their customers, getting a little bit deeper on understanding kind of the emotional and social aspects that brought them to their site in the first place, we're able then to create a plan and a strategy around how we're going to actually help them, acquire more customers. Because it's not about acquisition, isn't about just bringing eyeballs to the site. It's about actually getting them to be your customers, your loyal customers. And that's really what we do. We try to really dig in a little bit deeper on that aspect.
Yes, and it's something that most business owners don't really have time to really work on. You need to have a specialist, whether you have it in-house or you hire a professional like Ayat. What are some of the areas that you need to work on in terms of is it advertising? Are you going through their website and putting call to actions in their blog? What are some of the things that you do for people specifically?
Well, I always tell people that I wish CRO was just a change of a CTA or a call to action color. No, it's a lot more deeper than that, because of course we're looking at analytics. We're trying to really understand the funnel as much as possible. Where are the drop offs happening throughout the funnel? What pages do we see high exit rates, high bounce rates? Based on that, we're going to be. And it's going to kind of inform our strategy on what pages are really important within the site that we need to focus on. But then, it's about, okay, well, I'm looking at this page and I'm assessing it. There are multiple different areas, right? I'm doing evaluations from a heuristic perspective, just trying to understand that functionally from a usability perspective, that this site or this page is doing well, right? It's addressing all of those different aspects. But then, of course, I still need to engage the visitor in some way. I need to establish trust and confidence with the visitor. So I might be, for example, trying to figure out ways to enhance the value proposition on the site. Maybe it's not very clear to the visitor what is the value of this particular site as opposed to the different competitors. Or, for example, I might be saying, well, there's, like a lack of understanding. There's no clarity within the offering. How do I make sure that I'm delivering that information? And that's why the reason why the A/B testing portion is really important. Again, that's not what I always say, that A/B testing is a tool within our toolbox. But really, for me, it's understanding, well, I see the specific problem. I'm presenting a solution. It may well be that the solution doesn't provide an uplift for my client. However, I know that problem still exists. So I need to find what the solution is. I need to figure out what's resonating. That's why A/B testing is so valuable, is that I can try probably multiple things in order for me to figure out which one resonates best with the customer in order, and it's resulting in a better conversion rate or a higher result or a higher, just flow from one step to the next for the visitor.
Do you ever find when you're doing split testing that the results are a little bit counterintuitive and not what you assumed they would be?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sometimes you think it's a clear fire win. There's no way that it's going to be anything different, but then the customers disagree and they think that actually, no, this didn't really resonate with them. And the test actually doesn't provide any type of an uplift. So yeah, there's definitely those moments. But, when you've been doing CRO for long enough, you have a pretty good idea of what's going to work and what's going to not work. And so, but again, you always have even the client themselves. They're like, oh, I'm so sure that this is going to be a result, or they want you to test something. They'll say, can you test this? And, we might, maybe against what we're saying, like, actually, we don't believe that this will work, but the client is insistent. Well, the A/B test then tells them the result.
Then you can go, told you, listen to me next time.
Well, again, it's all in the results. And that's why it's helpful to have that just as a tool to kind of measure. And that's why I always encourage anybody who has a website not to necessarily just make random changes. Oh, like, hey, we want to add this feature on the site, or we want to, include more information here. Test it before you actually do that, because you need to measure whether or not it actually had an impact.
And clients love getting data to look at and see, where their money's going and what's working. And like you said, it trains you as well. So you start to become better at marketing because you've got the data guiding you along. And
Yep.
What type of businesses do you work with mostly, Ayat?
So majority of our, clients are e-commerce. We do have some lead gen. I was mentioning to you before that 2023 is interesting because we actually ended up getting a lot of lead gen customers, whereas, before it was mainly e-commerce. But again, our bread and butter is e-commerce. So the majority of our customers that come because they're always looking at increasing, of course, their sales, transactions, revenue. And that's really what we're really good at.
Awesome. And what can people expect if they pop over to your website? How do they get in touch with somebody?
So there usually is a contact us page within the site. We explain kind of what are the different services that we offer. There's a software option. Now the software, it's a separate company, but it's, it started off as a sister company of Invest. And then of course, if you just want to learn about CRO, there's also an education piece that can really just walk you through the whole entire process. And, you can get kind of like your team to just learn a little bit more about what it takes, what kind of research you have to conduct in order to really identify the different problem areas on the site.
Hey, tell me what the software does or is.
So the software is, it's called FigPy. It's essentially heat map, session recording, polling, as well as A/B testing. So it's kind of all those tools that you'll really need to leverage in terms of finding the problem areas and then actually doing the testing. So it's all within kind of one platform just to make it easier for people.
That sounds awesome. And I guess it's one of those things, you could get the software yourself, but it's quite difficult to use. And you need to have a professional there setting up all the campaigns and putting everything in. Is that correct, Ayat?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'll tell you in general that it might be a little bit difficult sometimes for a smaller company, for instance, to engage with like, like a consulting, an agency to do their CRO. But what I would encourage, at least make sure you do have the tools in place in order for you to gather the data, because it's still super relevant, super important. Heat maps can tell you a lot in terms of where visitors are clicking, what they're doing, how deep they're scrolling. Those are all important data points for anybody who has a website. So you just want to make sure that those things are set up in order for you to be able to just understand, and then based on that, make the changes that you need to make on your site.
Awesome. That's very interesting. Ayat, thank you so much for coming on and talking about those very interesting marketing ideas. Ayat Shukairy, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Could I ask a question?
Dylan, go for it.
So when you're gathering this data and presenting it to like the results of your A/B testing, do customers use that to refine their ideal customer profiles and flow back into the rest of their marketing? Do people use it that way?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of the learnings that we'll take will actually tell them that this would be useful to them in other areas of their marketing. So that could be from the A/B tests, or really even more importantly, also we do something called jobs to be done interviews. And that's where we gather a lot of user research, and we're able to kind of give them a lot of information that would be helpful in other areas of marketing for them. So certainly, I mean, because it's all interconnected. If you think that you're working in a silo, then you're not going to be benefiting anybody. So definitely, that information and that data is very helpful to them in other areas.
Good question, Dylan.
Has anyone developed? Sorry. One last question, Julian. I'm very interested. Has anyone developed like new products or like new sales narratives based on like that maturity?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked with our clients, for example, where we're completely coming up with their, for example, Black Friday campaigns, because of some of the research that we've conducted and some of the data that we've conducted based on their customer behavior. So it does inform a lot of those promotional strategies, or, it hasn't necessarily, I haven't seen it happen with products per se, but there's a lot of benefit that could, again, like the client has a lot of information at their fingertips. Once you're conducting all this research, it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to plug it in. So yeah. I guess, I mean, just at least from a promotional strategy, we've been able to assist our clients with that.
Awesome. Dylan, you're a good co-host, I got to say. Now, Dylan, let's pop over to you. And you work in tech in security, is that correct?
This is a popular misconception.
Okay.
I am often mistaken for a tech bro.
So what do you do at Salty on Security?
So that is my personal blog, and that is dedicated to security education, and it runs a little corporate, but my business, Simple Salt, is focused on delivering crime prevention for businesses that want it.
Gotcha. Okay.
What a lot of businesses don't realize is, this is kind of an open secret in the security and audit industries. If you want crime prevention, you want a different set of activities than if you want to say that you did everything reasonable, that it's not your fault that the breach happened, that they shouldn't fire you, that to defend the lawsuit, to be defensible. That's mostly what audit and the cyber industry provide. There are a couple companies, think like law firms or engineering firms with a lot of IP, that the breach is not gonna, that they can't just file an insurance claim and be whole, like a tire repair shop. They're going to lose 50% of their revenue because their business runs on trust. It's to those folks that the cyber industry is not helping very much. And we step in. And often the solutions are not technical ones. and they're not legal ones. They are process solutions, because ultimately stopping crime is eliminating single points of failure. It's helping make your most risky activities less risky.
When you talk about crime, oh, by the way, when I was typing in your URL, I accidentally triggered the applause sound effect when you were speaking. So just in case you thought I was being silly, that was an accident. All right, now Simple Salt. So it's sort of is tech in terms of it's internet crime. So what type of crimes are businesses vulnerable to that you help protect them from?
Sure. So crime rings that are doing all this stuff, they're an industry like any other. Some businesses in that industry are stealing data, just breaking into stuff and grabbing what they can. They sell that stuff. Maybe it's access, maybe it's data on marketplaces. And there are other companies that monetize that. Some are good at monetizing it for big companies and white glove sophisticated campaigns and running off with 10 or 50 million. And other companies are more like call centers with an average of two years of experience. And they're taking a volume approach, trying to convince your grandma that you're in a Mexican prison and she needs to send money. Like that's sort of like lower sophistication approach.
And what
I think the 50.
Sorry, I was just going to say,
Go ahead.
And what's the process involved if somebody wants to work with you? What can they expect? How long does it take? And what are sort of the basic steps that you do take?
Yeah, we try to practice what we preach with process engineering. It's really low friction to get started. Every service on our website, it's at the bottom, there's a schedule a meeting to talk about this thing. And usually there's availability with a rep. Sometimes it's me in the next week. Our fastest service, which has tells you how worried you should be and the easiest and most effective things you can do about it, usually has a 1 month turnaround from your first meeting to your final result.
Awesome. And if people get in touch with you, do you have a call with them, like a Zoom call or some sort of audit of their website?
Yeah, we talk, and it really depends, because it doesn't start usually with an audit. It doesn't start with a review of gaps, because if you're looking for problems, you will find them. We are all deeply deficient. We all have lots of problems. The hard part is prioritizing them and finding the easiest way to solve those problems. If I am a doctor's office, a solo doctor's office, and my website is riddled with problems, with security issues, but all it shows is like my address and my phone number and my email address for the receptionist, like, who cares? It really depends on the potential impact to that business's health and goals.
Awesome. Well, and sorry, the other thing I was going to ask, I don't know if I've asked you, what type of businesses do you mostly work with?
So if your business could get really hosed by internet crime, if you get nailed and it's going to be really painful for you, we can help. Often this ends up being businesses that rely on trust as part of their core value that they provide clients.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to, at some stage, sooner rather than later, is take a look at their security of what they've got going on. And I've been hacked before. It wasn't a big deal, but in certain scenarios, it can be a huge deal. Like we had a company in Australia called Optus, which is kind of like, do you have AT&T in America? Is that? Yeah, it's a similar telco, and I mean, it was incredible. I couldn't believe this. They got completely hacked, all of the credit card info, passwords, emails, and so it can happen to even the biggest companies. So take your security seriously. If you are thinking that you might need to, have a chat with Dylan. And I'd like to thank our wonderful guests for coming on. Thank you, Dylan and Ayat. Fantastic guests. I'll put a round of applause in the appropriate slot there. Thank you very much, and everyone for listening and watching. I'm going to wrap things up. See you next time. Bye.